We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's daughter, Hope, denounces renewed harassment against her family after the president's slur sparks abusive messages and threats.
Cynthia Erivo becomes the first black woman with 2 lead actress musical comedy nominations as Wicked for Good dominates 2026 Golden Globe contenders.
FIFA's decision to schedule a pride match featuring Iran and Egypt, nations hostile to LGBTQ+ rights, ignites global outrage and renews criticism of the organization.
Last.fm offers queer listeners continuous music tracking across platforms, delivering real-time stats, rap-style reports, and deeper insights, though some features require subscription.
Congress advances a $901 billion defense bill banning transgender women from women's sports at military academies, continuing broader efforts excluding the trans community. All this important LGBTQ+ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 11 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, December 9th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ television stories.
We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Yvonne Rohrbacher. I promise I practiced. Yvonne is a 35-year activist in South Florida and was founding VP of our Pride Center. She currently volunteers, supports the Women's Fund at Stonewall Museum and Library and other local groups. She now works as Friendly Visitor Program Coordinator for SAGE. Welcome to the show, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. You know, I just have to say, this time of year, we know we're coming up on the holidays. I'm so gratified and fulfilled to be doing this job with SAGE. Social interaction at this time of year can be even more important for our well-being in our older adult LGBTQ community than any others. So I'm having a brunch this weekend, actually, and end of the year. Thank you to the volunteers that are out visiting those older LGBTQ adults. It's just so important.
Excellent. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Welcome to the show, Gregg.
Thanks kindly, Durrell. Happy to be at the table with you, Yvonne and Rex. As we know, it's December 9th, which means that Hanukkah is 5 days away, Christmas is 16 days away, and Kwanzaa is 17 days away. For those still shopping for cool queer gifts, I'd like to suggest the 50th anniversary colored vinyl reissue. Look at this. It is so snazzy. Of Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy by the one and only Dame Elton John. And then also for sort of like the younger punk rock folks, there's a new reissue of Pansy Division's second album, and it's Deflowered. Get it? Pansy Division, Deflowered. And it's on this real pretty reddish, pinkish kind of vinyl. So I recommend them both. They make fabulous gifts.
Just make sure those are in my stockings as I leave.
Oh, I will.
Let's welcome anchor Rex Rogosch. Rex is a visionary designer with over 30 years of experience in product design, interior design, and architecture. Also known in the drag community as International Lords, Rex recently returned to performing. As president and co-founder of Lantera, he champions mental health awareness through vibrant, inclusive events. Rex, Santa Sip and Strut 2025 takes over Wilton Manors on December 14th. So tell me what's happening.
Absolutely. Get your high heels ready. On December 14th, Wilton Manors comes alive as Lantera hosts the festive Santa Sip and Strut bar crawl starting at lit. Participants jingle, mingle, and strut their best boots and wigs while collecting toys for Undercover Santa. The crawl starts from 2 to 4 at Lit Bar, moving to Spencer's Corner Bar from 4 to 5, Gym Bar, and the pub from 5 to 6, where we will also have a costume contest. And we end at Hunter's at 6 p.m. VIP tickets offer special perks at every stop. More events, details, and updates are available on Lantera Florida's Instagram.
That sounds amazing. How many people do you think will do it?
So we typically are between 100 and 200 people that show up at our bar crawls, but we are, trying to make them grow. And we're including more and more stops each year. But what's really good is it's not only fun, but we are also raising money for mental health awareness, and we are presenting 2 of our checks this year to our organizations of choice.
Wow! So I bet all the participants feel really merry and gay while they're doing it.
They feel something at least.
They may feel less at 6 than they do at 2. But
Exactly.
Is it ever hot? Is it ever too hot? Is it crazy hot in December ever?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's Florida.
Yeah.
Watch
But again,
those Santa outfits, huh?
after stop 2 or 3, you stop feeling it.
Yeah. And it looks like so much fun.
It's a blast.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Santa Sip and Strut on December 14th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, the senior minister at Sunshine Cathedral, one of the most important LGBTQ churches in the world. He's an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute and the current president of the Divine Science Federation. Welcome to the show, Durrell.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm always glad when I get to be here. And because here, by the way, the studio is at the Sunshine Cathedral, so I don't have very far to go. But I love being here. And I want you to know that, of course, Christmas Eve, December 24th, we have our annual Christmas Eve services at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And what's sort of fun about them, other than we just have fun, great music and whatever, but we attract people beyond the normal church-going crowd. I mean, we've had Muslims and Jews and Buddhists and atheists, and just because it's a good time. And everyone is certainly welcome. So that's December 24th at the Sunshine Cathedral, 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. It's the same service, so whichever one works for you. I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up politics. Hope Walz blasts MAGA harassment after President Slur toward her father. Minnesota Governor Tom Walz's daughter, Hope Walz, is speaking out after days of harassment targeting her family. Harassment, she says, was fueled by the president's recent use of the R word to describe her father. In a now deleted TikTok video, Hope unleashed on MAGA trolls.
No, I'm talking about this because while my family and I are always going to be the bigger people, the president calling my dad what he did has unleashed a storm regarding offensive language towards me and my family, and specifically my brother. You can call me whatever you want. You can call my dad, my mom. When it's Gus, to the no. To the no. He dealt with people calling him that last August, and now there's a resurgence. And no, how is it okay that the president of the United States can call somebody, anybody, doesn't matter who they are, that, and then all of his freaking cult members come and attack those people? in that person's family. Say what you want about my dad. He's an elected official, right? Like, that's going to happen. I think it's utterly disgraceful that the president would do that. But then the attacks that I have seen, I have people DMing me saying absolutely horrendous things. When I was home last week, somebody drove by and screamed that we were R words. Just driving by in their car. I'm like, what world are we living in? And again, I draw the line at Gus because he dealt with that before, and not again. You people are disgraceful. Shame on you, all of you.
Hope said messages flooding her DMs have been absolutely horrendous, and that someone even drove past their home and yelled the slur. Newsflash, Donald J. Trump is reprehensible. That his business is bullying. Like, that's what he does. He doesn't create, he doesn't uplift, he doesn't shine and polish, he doesn't help, he doesn't celebrate, he just bullies, he just hurts, he just punches down. And that this, first of all, I didn't know anybody even said that word anymore. I mean, I thought that was just like such an archaic, ancient, ridiculous word. But of course, he would be the one to resurrect it. And it just gives permission to the meanest, cruelest people among us. And that's what makes me sad. Of course, he's an idiot. Of course, he's an asshole. Everybody knows. But it makes me sad. People put him there. Like, he and his people didn't drive in in tanks and take over the Capitol. People put him there and haven't run from him screaming in the midst of all this. So that's what makes me sad, is that there are enough people that give him permission to give them permission to be their worst selves.
Trump is the name-calling schoolyard bully who grew into a name-calling illiterate man-baby sex offender who wears a dirty diaper. Hey, I think I just called him names.
No, you did.
You were reporting the news.
Oh my goodness. You know, every time something like this happens, it flashes in my head that Mary Trump, his niece that wrote a book about him, explained that in his childhood, in his family of origin, the phrase she uses is cruelty is their currency. That they were constantly finding ways to one-up each other, to destroy each other's egos, and that Donald Trump was raised to think that that's how you win in life from the time he was a small child. You know, talk about never being able to find your connection to anything higher.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah,
trauma begets trauma. Doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it okay that he's the president and that he's encouraging others as the leader of our country. But
right. Well, and again, I think you hit on something. It's the fact is by him doing this, it gives permission to those who are keyboard warriors, but the problem is they're no longer keyboard warriors, right? You know, you can block people on social media, but when they start seeking out your residences,
driving
once
past.
he pardoned the January 6th people,
Correct.
it was very, very clear whose side he was on. If you want to look at it that way,
Instigated it.
light or dark.
He's on
dark.
his side.
He instigated them and then pardoned them.
Yeah.
But once you talk about, law and order and but here's the thing. This is a child. Now, of course, he's a year older now than when we first met him, but this is the child.
Yeah.
And it's a child who has a special circumstance. Any human, any adult with any empathy, any compassion, any sense of humanity would want to protect this child, not be the 97-year-old, 79, I'm dyslexic, bully that makes his life infinitely more hellish. Because he's got this loving family and what's probably a pretty big community.
Opposite of the family in which he was raised. That's why he is this product.
Well, and also
work it out in therapy, not in the White House.
If you're upset with an elected official, because they're all government, go after him. Don't go after the family. The family has nothing to do with it.
Right.
At all.
Defenseless.
Well, I mean,
hasn't even run for school board.
Technically, he did go after them, but I mean, technically, he called his dad that, but would he have said that anyway if he didn't know that about the guy's family?
No.
I don't know.
Correct.
Right.
No,
correct.
He's the sort of person that if he had someone in his family with cancer, he would have called him a cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intentional. I really believe that it's, and I don't know that it's conscious. I think he has so rehearsed this so long that it's just who he is. But if his wife was in a wheelchair, he would say something about him being lame. I mean, I'm telling you, it was very intentional.
Yeah.
I'm Yvonne Rohrbacher, and let's queer up entertainment. Cynthia Erivo makes Golden Globes history with dual lead actress nods. Wicked star Cynthia Erivo has officially made Golden Globes history. Announced yesterday, the 2026 nominations crowned Erivo as the first black woman to earn 2 nominations in the lead actress, comedy, or musical category. A milestone resonating deeply across LGBTQ and black entertainment communities. Her new nod for Wicked for Good follows last year's nomination for the franchise's first installment, with voters once again recognizing the power of her Elphaba. With superb vocals and a performance that balances the history of Oz but with her own take on it, Erivo is seen as a major contender this year. She faces a stacked lineup: Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, Chase Infinity, Amanda Seyfried, and Emma Stone. And historically, only 12 black women had even been nominated in this category, and just one, Angela Bassett in 1994, has won. Last year marked the first time more than one black woman appeared in the race, when Erivo was nominated alongside Zendaya. Wicked for Good earned 5 nominations total, including Ariana Grande for Best Supporting Actress and 2 song nods, No Place Like Home and The Girl in the Bubble. The film also competes for cinematic and box office achievement after a record-shattering $226 million global opening. Winners will be revealed January 11th at the 83rd Golden Globes, hosted by comedian Nikki Glaser. So fun. I got to go to one of the premiere nights at the IMAX in Fort Lauderdale that was sponsored by our fund, and it was just an awesome night. I just couldn't be happier for her. She deserves 5 Golden Globes as far as I'm concerned. I just loved it.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's queer. She's not American. She's black. And she's a winner. I mean, I just love everything about her, although I'm a little scared of her Edward Scissorhand fingernails. But she's amazing.
Yes. Well, I would say bravo to Cynthia on her second nomination. It's too bad that her performance was wasted in a movie that was so awful. It was actually overlooked in the Best Picture category. I mean, that's how bad the movie is. So hopefully John Chu will not be allowed behind a camera ever again.
I can never work out what you're feeling. I can't ever make, what is he thinking? I don't know.
Say that again.
How do you really feel? I know the movie maybe had its really overblown parts, for one thing, but I kind of liked how they tied up the whole Wizard of Oz story at the end. I kind of liked that part.
I mean, you know, you have people who have always loved it. You have people who have never loved it. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, we have a very talented actress that's finally getting her flowers and getting the recognition. Because, I mean, she's not new to this, the entertainment world, but she's finally getting the recognition that she deserves. And,
absolutely.
And people are now discovering her and going, you know, and finding her music that she's released and her albums. And so, you know, congratulations. She's, like the movie or not, she is very talented.
She's amazing.
I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up the worldview. FIFA faces outrage after a pride match assigned to Iran where being LGBTQ is punishable by death. The 2026 World Cup is under fire after assigning an LGBTQ-themed pride match to Iran, a country where same-sex relations are punishable by death. Seattle was named a host city more than 3 years ago, and the June 26th match scheduled there has now been designated a pride event. Following the tournament draw, it was confirmed that Egypt and Iran, both with deeply troubling queer records, will take the field. The local FIFA organizing committee told Fox 13 Seattle the match is a, quote, rare opportunity to make a lasting impact, one that educates the world, inspires our LGBTQ plus community, and uplifts those businesses and cultural organizations, end quote. In Iran, LGBTQ plus people face persecution, violence, and execution, with a 2021 UN report documenting electric shock torture of queer children. Egypt, while not explicitly criminalizing homosexuality, routinely prosecutes queer people for indecency. Despite concerns, organizers say the event will proceed. Advocates also note FIFA's ongoing failures, including its decision to award the 2022 World Cup to Qatar, where homosexuality remains criminalized. Well, anyone who knows me knows that I loathe the sports ball. So as far as I'm concerned, FIFA and its fake-ass peace prize is a 4-letter acronym for fucking ignorant football addicts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say asshole.
I got the fucking in.
Wow,
And that's
I'm
the
just
important part.
gobsmacked.
Yeah,
Like, are we
right?
in the upside down?
Right. Because I mean, I get the spin they're trying to do, but I do think it's just that spin. We're educating. We're putting in their faces so they see we're really people. No. What you're doing is rewarding the economies of horrible people who are horrible to queer folk. And I believe Iran, in addition to the electric shock, in addition to the incarceration, in addition to the execution, I believe that's also another punishment for gay men can be forced gender reassignment surgery. That it's not because you identify, it's actually a punishment, and then you can live as a woman. And then, though, so now you can live as a woman, and they'll respect you supposedly, but now you're rejected by your family and all of that, and you're just, and you have to do sex work to survive. So it is really for gay people. I mean, I don't like to whatever people's culture, but I wouldn't want to be there. And I can't hide. A lot of people can hide. I can't pass, and so I wouldn't want to be there. But yeah, this to reward them with the international exposure and with the zillions of dollars. That's what they see. So they're like, oh yeah, education. Oh yeah, complain. They're cashing the checks.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting to see if the governments of those countries step in and say, no, you're not going to play there because of those rules and regulations. And I was going to say the same thing.
Works for me.
I think FIFA in their mind said, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to take happen to take two countries that are so anti this and say, okay, this is a place for us to maybe open up, because there are unfortunately LGBTQ people in those countries that need help, that need the visibility. So I do see that side of things. I'd be more interested because, I mean, let's be honest, people from Egypt and people from Iran are not flying over here necessarily to see that game. They might see it on TV, but the majority of the people that are going to be in those stands are going to be Americans. And it is Seattle.
Right.
So yes, the teams are getting paid, and the teams do get sponsorships, but the countries themselves aren't necessarily getting it. But it'd be interesting to see if those governments pull out and say, no, sorry, you can't perform. And
I wouldn't doubt if they do play that the people at home don't get to see it on TV because they will decide that it's not appropriate.
Correct.
Or even sometimes people will self-select out. I remember during the worst of the AIDS crisis that a lot of people, even when there was medical help to be had, didn't access it because they were afraid that would be outing them as gay.
Correct.
And there are people who needlessly died because they would rather slowly die of AIDS than be quickly killed by gay bashing or whatever.
Correct.
And this could be another thing. Like, I wouldn't die. I want to be seen watching this game,
Yeah, good
here.
point. I mean, even in this awesome country, I was told in New York City and in South Florida, which are the only two places that SAGE has our friendly visitor program for older adults to have more social interaction, that we've been asked not to wear name tags when we go and visit people because some of them are not out at their nursing homes, at their, even or to their family. They live with their kids and their kids don't know they're gay. And, some people that are over 70, which, I'm not that far off. And I just can't imagine still being 80 years old and not being out to anybody except this person that comes to visit you.
And some people have gone back in the closet. We've done stories about that where they were out, but when they had to be institutionalized and let home, that they didn't feel safe. They didn't feel like they'd get the proper care.
Because we thought it was more appropriate to maybe say who we were,
so
especially
in case
walking
there was somebody else
or whatever. And we were like, no, we took a poll and the answer is no, they don't want us to do that.
That's why
people are mean.
That's why I think if FIFA, I think the intention probably was good. I think, we're all probably thinking the same. They thought that this was going to be a way to bring light to places that need, but it's correct. It's going to backfire.
If there had been one, but
there's other ways of doing it.
I just think it was good optics. I don't think it was well thought through. Even if there was some good intentions, it wasn't well thought through.
Agreed. I'm Rex Rogosch, and let's queer up gay culture. Miswrapped already? Here's the queer-friendly app that tracks your tunes all year. Spotify Wrapped is out, and once again, queer listeners everywhere are asking why the app insists their music age is 82 or above. The annual data drop, showcasing top tracks, albums, and total listen minutes, remains a beloved end-of-year ritual. But for LGBTQ fans who curate playlists like their mood rings, waiting 12 months for an insights can feel like a lifetime. Enter Last.fm, a third-party music aggregator that lets you monitor your listening habits whenever you want. The app connects to Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and SoundCloud, then tracks every song you play, known as Scrabbles. Once it gathers enough data, Last.fm delivers reports on your top artists, genres, decades, skip habits, and even your favorite hours of the day to listen. You can filter your stats from the past 24 hours to your entire listening history. And at a year's end, you'll still get Wrapped-style graphics, but across all your music apps. There's a catch. It only tracks songs after you link your account, and some advanced stats require a monthly $5 or $50 annual subscription. Still, for queer audiophiles who want year-round validation for their musical obsessions, Last.fm might be your must-have.
Okay, now I get it a little bit with the validation word, because before that I would say I am a big audiophile. I love music, and my styles do change, especially if I'm singing in a choir right now, or I'm singing in an R&B band, right?
Absolutely.
But I know what I'm listening to.
So I mean, I think the year-end.
I don't need anybody to tell me what I'm listening to. I know.
I know. I think the year-end rap thing is kind of, it's a cute thing. You kind of, but I know what I listen to, and my, I'm a huge audiophile. I was a Columbia House record person when I was like in the fifth grade.
They sent you the penny.
I renewed it so many times. I mean, in one given day, I'll be going from Garth Brooks to Nitzareb to Gloria Gaynor, back to Queen, like all in one playlist.
I'm done with Gloria. I'm done with Gloria, but just recently.
But I mean, it's just, look, everybody has their quirks, and everybody, wants to track their thing. I think it's interesting you tap on the whole validation thing, because that's a whole nother subject and a whole nother conversation.
But it's like, people... okay, so I kind of get it. If that's what it's about, that you can say to somebody, oh, here's my Spotify Wrapped from last year, and I'm kind of proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, everything is unfortunately geared around social media nowadays, all the way down to getting a job interview. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that something is out there like this, but it's something fun. If you want to go grab it and see, what you are and aren't listening to, and how many times you hit skip because you weren't in the mood, now you have something.
For me, the question remains: are those so-called aggregators paying the artists, queer and straight, a fair and equitable rate for streaming their music?
No.
There's a long history of these artists getting screwed royally by these places.
Well, a few years ago, the acting union had to go on strike because the streaming were just not being fair at all.
Yeah. So pay them. Well,
authors and musicians are both having the same problem with digital versus other ways to get their art. It's true.
I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up trans rights. New defense bill revives anti-trans battles at military academies. Congress is moving ahead with a massive new defense policy bill that would bar transgender women from competing in sports at U.S. military academies. The 3,086-page package authorizes a record $901 billion in defense spending for 2026, $8 billion more than President Trump requested. The bill orders the Secretary of Defense to ensure that military academies do not permit anyone, quote, whose sex is male, to participate in an athletic program or activity that is designated for women or girls, end quote. Defining sex as a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. The measure has already been negotiated by Republicans and Democrats and is headed for a White House vote, House of Representatives vote this week, leaving little room for changes. One earlier proposal blocking Defense Department funding for gender-affirming surgeries was dropped, but many other restrictions remain. A House version approved in September stated, quote, no gender transition procedures, including surgery or medication, may be provided to a minor dependent child through an EFMP, Exceptional Family Member Program, end quote. Advocates warn that each year's must-pass National Defense Authorization Act becomes a vehicle for anti-trans provisions that might not survive on their own. As Mother Jones reporters noted, the NDAA is now part of a broader, coordinated effort to limit gender-affirming care nationwide. I don't want to be, do you remember Geraldo? Do you remember Ricky Lake, which had a show? Do you remember all this? I don't want to be these people. I don't want to be just wound up and say crazy things. But for real, if you look at history, if you look at the fascist dictators of the 20th century, this is what they do. Now, if you say that, you're just completely, catastrophizing or whatever. No, you pick the most vulnerable group and you go after them relentlessly. You dehumanize them. You make their lives even more miserable than they would be otherwise. That's the game plan. How are we not seeing this? How is that we're not all screaming that this is... We're talking about barely over 1% of the population. And not everybody gets treatment. And no one gets treatment, like the day they turn 11 or whatever. I mean, this one's at 4, this one's at 16, this one's at 70. I mean, so we are talking about a non-existent situation. But by doing all this, we're making the 3 or 4 it would impact their lives miserable and making everyone else ashamed or afraid to come out, making other people be less tolerant and more cruel towards them, which is the point. Which is why this is happening in prisons, it's happening in sports, it's happening in the military, anywhere they can make this tiny vulnerable minority of people miserable. That's what they're doing, and that is completely diabolical.
It's just another page directly out of the Poisonous Project 2025 playbook. This is pure Heritage Foundation. Trump isn't even smart enough to come up with something this evil. He's that stupid, but he is the puppet of Russell Vogt and Kevin Roberts and their insane right-wing religious fanaticism. That is exactly what this is. This is pure Project 2025. And they warned us about it.
Well, and what's scary is, and we've talked about this before, is the wording in which they're using to classify what sex is actually hurts more than just transgender people as well. Because, I mean, if you are... It's so ambiguous. Like, it said, I want to quote it real quick, the way that they're doing this, I'm sorry, I'm taking...
That's all right.
Defining a sex as a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. So if you have and I don't want to use the word abnormality, but if you have a genetic abnormality at birth, then what are you classified as?
Exactly.
Well, I immediately
so that's what I'm saying.
my intersex friends that everybody now considers trans just because they had.
Correct. It is a direct attack on intersex because intersex is determined by chromosomes, and they're not including that in their criteria.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like the way that they're generalizing some of these things was not only going after the transgender, but it's a slippery slope, because then we start talking about, and they've already talked about, no trans people in the military anyway. So then why if you're going to do that and get that passed, then why do you need to do all the rest of the stuff, like just to get your money passed through?
Why would a trans person go to a military academy if they know they're not going to be allowed to join the Navy when they're finished anyway?
Right,
correct.
Right. And the idea of the chromosomes, that would be too scientific for them. They're not interested in science. They're just interested in their own crazy ideology.
And there's, we can talk about that another
the term
time.
slippery slope, which means who's next, who's next, who's next,
always
just like the
a next.
poem.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
There's always a next.
Because these people are next. This group is next because it started with women's reproductive rights, and they got away with that.
Right.
And then so now they're attacking everyone. They've tried a couple of times, little half-assed attempts for marriage equality. They're going to try again.
Of course.
And now this full-on assault on trans, which includes intersex, but they don't know what that is.
Right.
And so there is a next, because there's always a next. If I can get away with this, then who else can I go after? Because that's the playbook.
Well, at least they changed from the word conception because they finally realized how much we were making fun of them, that they didn't know the science behind when you are conceived, you're female.
Right?
They're like, the sex you are when you're conceived. Oh, no, maybe not.
Wow.
So again,
And these are adults. These are adults who,
Okay.
enough about them for now.
That makes my heart hurt.
There is because you're a person. People are heartbroken over this mess. LGBTQ 1-minute news. Let's queer up drag culture. Pattie Gonia's 100-mile drag trek raises $1.1 million for the planet. Drag queen and environmental activist Pattie Gonia has raised an astounding $1.1 million after completing a 100-mile backpacking trek in full drag. More than 34,700 donors helped her surpass her $1 million goal, with each of 8 nonprofits receiving over $145,000. She wrote, quote, "That is insane. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't make a difference," end quote. Critics once called her fundraiser crazy, but she added, quote, "You're likely on the right path. The devil works hard, but we work harder," end quote. I am amazed. Like how long was the trek? How was 100 miles? I wouldn't want to walk 100 feet and those big pumps to sort of walk. I mean, really, the amount of damage that she could have done to herself and may have done, that's committed. Yes, that. And if you've ever seen, like, you should see this person with the push-ups and the pull-ups. I mean, they are super fit. But to use their body, I love this the body positive, using their body to help people is so impressive to me. And of course, our producers said in an earlier chat that when they say full drag, the rumor is that means full drag. That means duct tape and all.
What the tuck?
Yeah.
Look, as the former drag queen at the table, I want to know how she kept her makeup on for 100 miles.
Right.
No, I follow Patagonia, and they are such an outspoken person, and I love the fact that not only they're outspoken, but they're very, very eloquent and how they speak, and they don't mince words. But they're using their platform for something other than trying to get on Drag Race.
Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pattie Gonia is a truly inspired name for an environmental activist drag race.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
100%.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian and queer women. Okay. Cleat Cute kicks off as the Sapphic answer to heated rivalry. Lesbians, clear your schedules for Cleat Cute, the Sapphic sports romance gaining momentum after heated rivalry's explosive success. The upcoming adaptation of Meryl Wilsner's hit novel follows USWNT veteran Grace Henderson and rising star Phoebe Matthews as rivalry turns to desire ahead of the World Cup. Described as Ted Lasso meets A League of Their Own, the story is praised for authentic competition and spicy chemistry. Produced by Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe, with Future Shack Entertainment. The series has no network yet, but fans are already hyping it as the next must-watch queer sports drama. Yes, please. And I said, I don't know what Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe know about making television shows or movies or anything fictional or theatrical, but I know they know a lot about lesbians in sports and what happens behind the scenes, so it should be pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to bring authenticity to it. And I think that's what, any good show needs is authenticity, and people will flock to it.
And I'm so excited about queer romances being featured now, because it's always like the funny neighbor or the evil villain or the performer, always a performer at the nightclub or whatever, and that this is just people in love, and sometimes not. I don't know this story, but sometimes against all odds. They have a lot to lose. Whatever. And these queer love stories, I think, are going to be very healing and very empowering for people right now. We feel so attacked from every direction.
I'm sure we all went through a period where there wasn't any gay characters in a movie or a TV show that we wanted to see
pretty recently.
I don't need to see another one where at the end one of the women runs off and marries a man because they want. I was just like, I don't watch those movies anymore that claim to be lesbian
commercials.
movies.
14 girls in bikinis and one guy with a sports car, and but that was, but we, but we're shoving something down people's throats.
No. The question is it FIFA approved? LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Dana International condemns Eurovision boycott. Eurovision's first openly trans winner, Dana International, is criticizing 4 European countries for boycotting Eurovision 2026 over Israel's inclusion. Ireland, the Netherlands, Spain, and Slovenia say competing is unconscionable amid Gaza's humanitarian crisis. In an Instagram post, Day International said she'd long been welcomed in those nations while singing a message of equality and acceptance, asking, quote, "Do you understand how violent and insulting that decision is?" End quote. She urged them not to punish an entire country. Eurovision 2026 will take place in Vienna next May. So this is not going to be very popular with the kids at the table, but Eurovision has never registered on my entertainment radar. So if this puts the silly and pointless competition in jeopardy, that's music to my ears.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
I mean, again, the two sides of the story. I do understand where she's saying don't punish a whole country for the actions of a few, but unfortunately we're at a point in crisis where you do have to. So, it's...
Yeah.
It's hard to say. At Eurovision,
I think you're right that
I've never really
even
watched
the arts life is political. The political is personal, and if you see what's going on there and you don't agree with it, we have reached a point in the world where you have got to speak up.
Right. And I give those countries, kudos. This is how you feel, and this is the actions that you want to take. So do it. People might not agree with it, but they're standing by their convictions.
Yeah.
And so let them make that political call.
And I mean, there's no getting out of it anyway.
Correct.
Because you say, well, I'm just going to stay out of this. No, silence is also political.
That's right.
Yes.
So it's there's no getting out of it. So you may as well let your real feelings be known, because even stepping out, you're kind of making a statement. It may not be the one you want, so you may as well get in there and say something.
LGBTQ 1-minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Ariana Grande's Accoster reportedly barred from Lady Gaga's Mayhem tour. A man who grabbed Ariana Grande at the Wicked for Good premiere has reportedly been banned from Lady Gaga's Mayhem Ball tour. Johnson Wen, known online as Pajama Man, pleaded guilty to public nuisance after the Singapore incident. A Gaga fan account claims security has moved to block Wen from venues, quote, due to his recent attack on Ariana Grande and his history of stage intrusion, end quote. Lady Gaga is touring the Mayhem Ball until April 2026. So I saw the little clip, and yes, he did jump out of line. He grabbed her to take the selfie or make sure that he was in the photos. Erivo swept in and pushed him away, and
He's so bad at it.
So what he did, yes, was not appropriate. But I think it's the history of him doing this and hopping on stage. Yeah. If you're going to keep doing this, then yes, you should probably be banned from all public.
And almost anyone would feel, surprised and startled and invaded. Like, you just don't pop up on somebody, especially when they are public. Maybe get threats anyway. Yeah, it wasn't smart of him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if she got hurt or not. It's that he's being inappropriate repeatedly. So if I were a performer, I wouldn't want him around either.
No, Johnson Wen needs to keep his hands and his Johnson to himself.
LGBTQ 1-minute news. Let's queer up lesbian and queer women. Lesbian educator wins $1.2 million after alleged LGBTQ coven slur. A California educator has won a $1.2 million settlement after alleging anti-LGBTQ discrimination by her school board. Former Special Education Director Rose Tagnisi sued the Grossmont Union High School District, saying trustees harassed her over her identity and that one member called her and a colleague witches in an LGBTQ coven. She also claimed he told her to keep a low profile about being a lesbian. The board approved the settlement without admitting wrongdoing. Admit or don't admit, that's not how you treat, that's how you. And what's an LGBTQ coven?
I'm part of a coven,
right?
But,
Like, what is that? Like, you have to be, or they give you some sort of tincture so you become that? I mean, what is an LGBTQ coven?
Well, I would be the natural person to ask, and I don't know the answer.
And what's a lesbian? So it was so silly. But it's just, people are mean, and I'm glad that people are fighting back now. Queer people, trans people, whatever. Just no. Behave yourself
and get some money.
Oh yes,
she did well with that.
Yeah, cha-ching. Yeah. These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite favorite, that was a weird word, streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Yvonne Rohrbacher, Gregg Shapiro, and Rex Rogosch. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you a good night.